Hi guys, I'm Awab here, and
I'm Amparo.
we're here, from the Kingfishers cohort to give you advice on how to approach question 2 of your application statement. And that question essentially is asking you to describe a challenge that you have faced and just let us know how you overcame it, or let the assessors essentially know how you overcame it. Now, see, when it comes to the aim of the question, they don't want to just hear about, the challenge itself. They want to understand your thinking or how you think when facing one. So it just shows your problem solving process and your ability to learn and adapt. See, you all know that, you are applying for DiveIn and your PhD, you'll be dealing with a lot of uncertainty and, changing circumstances. So with this question, it's essentially assessing whether you can reflect, take initiative, grow through challenges.
The way I answered this question was by choosing a real situation where I faced a significant obstacle during my studies. I focused less on the problem itself and more on the process, how I identified the challenge, the actions I took to overcome it, and what I learned. For example, I talked about teaching myself a new skill when support wasn't available, and how that experience shaped my confidence as a researcher.
Yeah, I'm going to also add, that really resonates in the way I approach and the way I answer the question. But one thing, when it comes to the challenge, it doesn't have to be the hardest one, because, focus on one that taught you the most and then focus on what you did to overcome it. Also, make sure to talk about, how that challenge or what you learned from it actually built skills and, a mindset that you'll need for a PhD. So essentially relate what you learned from the challenge and then link it to the PhD, relevant skills essentially. Now, me and Amparo came together, with these 3 main tips, that we'd love to share with you. The first one would be, be specific but also focused. And what I mean by this is mention the challenge briefly, and then spend most of your time explaining what you learned from the challenge, because that's the most important factor. Another tip that I would also add is to talk about uncertainty and that you had to ask for help, because that's what, when you show that you did ask for help, it shows real growth and, it shows that you actually went through a challenging situation. And finally, another tip the third tip would be make sure that you link the skills. I mentioned this earlier, link the skills that you learned from the challenge you faced. And as I said, link it to the PhD context that you'll bring to the research essentially. And one thing, this is the final tip, I promise you, when it comes to this, it's one, that make sure you keep it, authentic, honest and transparent. Don't try and, make it fake or more dramatic essentially, because assessors are going to be able to tell, a truth from a scenario that's, dramatic or fake essentially. Thank you.